Okay. Very good morning, everybody. Many of you may know, or some of you may not know, this is a part of the event which is organized by the Organization of Economic Development Cooperation and International Network for Financial Education, OECD INFI, popularly known as. And this is an annual weekly event that is organized by OECD INFI every year during the month of March. It is called the Global Money Week. And the 2020-23 Global Money Week is celebrated by them. And from the 20th, today is the first day, 20th to the 26th March 2023. And they are celebrating the 11th edition of the Global Money Week. It started in the year 2012. Last year, they completed 10 years, and this is the 11th edition. And every year, this event is organized with some theme, and this year's theme is Plan Your Money, Plant Your Future. And basically, this event is organized and it brings in more than 100 countries in the world who are celebrating this, and to spread the importance of financial education, to make financial education accessible to the students and especially to the children and the young adults, and realize that how important financial education is in our day-to-day life. And financial education and financial literacy is not only a problem in India, the lack of financial literacy is a global problem and it's a global challenge. And more countries are increasingly realizing this post-COVID that we had for 2 to 3 years. So everybody is trying to scale up their financial education activities. Basically, we all are trying to integrate financial education in the school curriculum and make financial education accessible to this children and the students at early stage, so that will be a game changer and we can build this national asset. So NCFE and this year's Global Money Week, like last year's SEBI, the Securities Exchange Board of India, which is the regulator of the capital markets, they are the national level coordinator. And NCFE is also participating and joining with its own activities. And the series of webinars and with the 4 sector regulators, that is an excellent example of the force of collaboration that we are having. And today is the first day, and we are having with us the Chief General Manager, Shri Santosh Kumar Sharma ji with us. And he also is the Director of the National Center for Financial Education. You might have seen him already. And so he has a distinguished career in SEBI. Not only that, and most importantly, his current portfolio includes the Office of Investor Assistance and Education, and also the Public Relation Officer. He is now in SEBI. Sir, we have more than 200 participants already who have logged in. Apart from that, since it is basically meant for the school students and all, there are few colleges and school students from Tamil Nadu, from Assam, from Orissa who have also joined, and it is being mainstreamed, live streamed through the YouTube also. So we will give you the exact number of participation. So we always have a good response from all our resource persons and the financial education providers, those who are interested in this field. So today's topics are, the SEBI's perspective on the plan your future and plan to your money. I will not come in between that, and it's after your session is over, maybe a few questions, if it is there in the chat board, I will come back and ask you, we can have some interaction. Otherwise, I hand over that platform to you now. Sharma ji, it's up to you now, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Dwivedi. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of SEBI, I welcome all participants to this online webinar on Global Money Week 2023. Every year, OECD celebrates one week, that is during March, called it is Global Money Week. This year theme is Plan Your Money, Plant Your Future. So the theme itself is saying money and future are related. This week is a very special opportunity for us to promote financial education and financial literacy and encourage people to take control of their financial future. On this occasion, I would like to highlight why financial literacy is the need of the hour, what is financial literacy, and basic, simple way to achieve it. How we can achieve financial literacy. I will also touch upon briefly how financial literacy will help people to enter into the securities market or use of securities market, since I am representing SEBI. So, first of all, why this financial literacy is the need of hour for India as a special case, I will highlight. Financial literacy campaign started in the developed countries like US, UK, Europe, almost 100 years back. And as a result of this, I will give some data like financial literacy, average level of the financial literacy in the country like Sweden, Norway, Denmark, that is 71%. Similarly, UK, US, European countries, that varies from 50 to 60, 65%. Even emerging markets, they have more than 35% financial literacy rate. If you see our neighbors also, even Sri Lanka, Myanmar, they have more than what we have achieved. So their average level is more than 30%, whereas India, we have financial literacy average is 24%. So that means 76% people are yet to be financially literate. Another set of data I will mention here. India is the fastest growing country in the world in terms of GDP. Third largest economy in terms of GDP. Number one economy in terms of inflow through FDI. Then 20% of the world population are in India. So if we see this data which I given later, so that means this data is showing that India at micro and macro level, the strong fundamentals, and we are going at the fastest speed, so money will not be a problem as far as our young generation is concerned. Therefore, it has become more necessary to increase our financial literacy level so that we can manage our own money in a better way. So this is why this is the need of the hour, and we are putting all regulators, including NCFE, are putting all efforts to increase the financial literacy. Now I will briefly tell you what is financial literacy. To better understand, I will tell who is not financially literate or who is financially illiterate. This simple sentence will explain everything. Any person who is slave to his or her paycheck and have no saving investment to fall back is a financially illiterate. And if you see our data, one data is saying, as per a study in India, 72% people can barely manage for 3 months' time in case of loss of income. So all these data are showing that we should be very serious while managing our finance. Now, how to achieve financial literacy? Financial literacy can be achieved by learning the basics of financial literacy. There are 4 concepts or 4 pillars of financial literacy. But the foundation always remains income. And income we are having, that is not a problem. Everybody earns according to his or her capacity. So that is the foundation. After that, 4 things we have to take care to achieve the financial literacy for a better financial management. Number 1 is saving. Saving means spending less than what we earn. This is very essential part of financial learning, without which nobody can realize any goals of his or her life, whether it is education, whether it is house, whether it is skill development. Nothing can be achieved if one is not saving. So everybody requests to save for achieving whatever may be his or her goal. So saving is the basic component, first component of financial literacy. Second thing is budgeting. We always experience that this expenditure, what we call, always try to oversmart income. It is the basic nature of expenditure. It will always try to oversmart income because maybe because we start first of initial life 10, 15 years or whatever, whenever we are going to earn, till that time we only spend. Maybe because of that, our nature or expenditure always try to outsmart our income. So this we can minimize or restrict by budgeting. Budgeting is nothing but to curtail the unnecessary expenditure which is not required and thereby saving part of the income, whatever we can say. Third component of financial literacy is debt. For many of us, debt has become a reality. Old days, we were hearing that we should not touch debt, but nowadays, has become reality, and everybody has to deal with this. Only few extraordinary wealthy people can afford to pay for house, education, or luxury item like car with cash. So it is very difficult to avoid debt. In addition to this plastic money we have, which always traps us for unnecessary expenditure. So keeping in view this, I will suggest that we cannot avoid debt, but we can make a choice between good debt and bad debt. Good debt means things which are necessary to us, which we cannot avoid and need it, like housing, education, skill development. So these are the good debts, and we should go for this according to our need. And similarly, same time we should discourage the bad debt. Bad debts is unnecessary expenditure like borrowing by using credit card, foreign vacation, then luxury items like clothes or electronics items. So this we should minimize. So management of debt is also very important as far as financial literacy is concerned. Fourth pillar of this financial literacy is investing. Investing means putting money into something that will make you a profit over time. It is nothing. Investment is not a big thing. Anybody can do investment. Only thing is we should ensure that the money is earning some profit over the period of time. But before investing, first thing I will suggest that we should not be guided blindly by greed. This fraudulent schemes, whatever is running because of people's greed. So we should not be guided. While investing, we should not be guided by greed. Second thing is everybody should know about inflation. That is common thing. So inflation should be considered And one more thing is a risk appetite. A risk appetite depends on each individual's, which varies keeping in view their earning capacity, nature of the person, then requirement, goals, long term, short term, medium terms. So risk capacity and inflation. So everybody should define a correct point in the range of inflation and risk appetite. We must ensure that inflation is taken care, and depending upon your risk capacity appetite, you can decide. This risk appetite also depend on various factors like whether you want to go for long-term investment, short-term investment, medium-term investment, or what is your goal, whether it is higher education, skill development, house, car. So all this decides your risk appetite. Therefore, everybody should decide what is his or her risk appetite range point point in the range of inflation and risk appetite and go for investment. So this is the investment. Then now in investment, since I am representing SEBI, I will touch upon the points where you can use your investing or investment through securities market. So we are telling about basics. So I will tell the basic things considering this safety into the mind. So for this, I will give some data with regard to the how this market or assets class behave. Last 10 years average of growth in Sensex, I will say it is 15%. 10 years average rate. Similarly, 10 years average FD rates has given 7%. And 10 years average return on gold is 6%. At the same time, the inflation is also 10 years average is around 6%. So if we will keep the inflation in mind, that means all asset class have beat the inflation. But Sensex has given the maximum return in the 10 years time, that is 15%. I am not suggesting anything, but again I will repeat that you decide what is your desired rate of return you want. That can be decided if you will consider inflation and your risk appetite or the purpose of investment. That will decide what whether you will go for which assets class. So depending upon that, I am giving only the indicative average rates that have to be decided by oneself. So gold has all assets class have beat the inflation, but Sensex has given maximum return, whereas FD has also given 7% return. And the Sensex also, Sensex you can go for safe, keeping in view the safety. I will suggest you can go for mutual funds. Mutual funds also we have seen there are various options. Suppose you are going for long term, then mutual fund is suitable. You can go for the safe fund, that is index fund. Index always more gives return if you will go for 5 to 10 years time. Index fund and after index fund you can go for blue chip fund, mid cap, small cap. All these categories of fund have given the return whatever the Sensex has given. So and you do not have to go for management also, because professionals will be managing your money, that is mutual funds. So that is one thing. Second thing, suppose you are going for gold, then buying jewelry, always you know that there is a upward cut, making charges that varies from city to city and jeweler to jeweler. 10% is the minimum I have seen. So 10% of your investment is immediately gone if you are buying jewelry. So if you cannot avoid, then go for physical gold. And in physical gold also, you have the problem of keeping it safely. So in that gold investment also, we have from security side we have gold ETF, which gives similar return whatever the physical gold gives minus the risk of keeping it sick. Even if you are not going for gold ETF, sovereign gold bond fund, gold one. Sovereign gold fund is also very good options if you are interested in gold, because the rates are taken care. In addition to that, you will get 2.5 to 2.75% interest per annum on that. So I will briefly summarize that making financial plan or budgeting is must. That can be helpful for saving and which resultantly result into the investment. So please budget whatever expenditure is not required that you can curtail. Then start saving at an early age so that you can get the benefit of compounding rate of return. Then determine your goals, whether it is short term, long term. Accordingly, you decide the assets class and the period of investment. This program, I am thankful to NCFE, Mr. Dwivedi and his team, our SEBI team, and also I submit my gratitude and thankfulness to OECD, who are seriously, regularly celebrating this week all over their member organizations. Thank you very much.
Any question? I don't see any question in the chat. Anyone has some questions? We can spend 1 or 2 minutes. I think we don't have. It was a short and crisp session, Sharmaji. I will now, Sunil, could you propose a formal vote of thanks for Sharmaji?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. And thank you, all the participants. So, first of all, I would like to thank our speaker, Shri Santosh Kumar Sharma, sir, CGM SEBI and Director NCFE, who graced this Global Money Week webinar and explained about the importance of financial literacy and financial planning and how we can create a sustainable financial future for tomorrow by investing today. Sir also enlightened us on the importance of managing our finances and budget more effectively and developing healthy spending habits. Sir, your expertise has been valuable to our participants, and we appreciate the time and effort you have taken to share your knowledge with us. Thank you once again, sir, for your contribution to this Global Money Week event. Thank you, sir. So now we have another session with Shri Ankur Jarora ji, Manager RBI. So I would like to all the participants, please don't log out, keep it, stay with us, and we will start our another session with Shri Ankur Jarora ji, Manager RBI. And I would like to welcome him for this Global Money Week webinar on the theme of Plan Your Money, Plan Your Future. And many of us had the pleasure of attending Shri Jarora ji sessions during Financial Literacy Week last month, which was well appreciated by the participants. So today we are delighted again to have Shri Ankurji with us, and we look forward to his insights on the topic, which will definitely help us to increase our understanding about budgeting, saving, and other key financial concepts to secure our future. Now, we would like to invite Ankurji to take the floor and deliver the session. So, Ankurji, over to you.
Good morning, everybody. And thank you, Sunil ji, for introducing me for such a gracious introduction. And I also thank Shri Devedi ji, CEO NCFE, for providing us the opportunity to connect with the FLC trainers and CFL trainers and also school students. So I take the opportunity to talk about the Global Money Week and its importance, and also what RBI is doing in general, and also in relation to the theme of the Global Money Week. So I'll just start the presentation. I'll just share it. So are you able to see the presentation?
Yes, your presentation is visible.
Yeah. So I'll start with the theme of the Global Money Week this year. So OECD INFI has kept the theme as Plan Your Money, Plan Your Future. And if we look at the broader theme, it pretty much covers all that there is to financial literacy, especially in the Plan Your Money part. I'll like to start with the Plan to Your Future part first, which seems a very resonating theme across the world, given the sustainable development that everybody talks about. So this is one area where RBI has taken a lot of strides in the past few decades. One of the things would be the introduction of green bonds, which are instruments through which people can invest in green projects. Now, what are these green projects? Well, anything which is using more and more renewable energy and more towards energy efficiency, so that there is lesser and lesser usage of resources which are non-renewable. Then clean transportation, like you can say metro trains, and lesser and lesser public, more and more public transport, and less, you can say, private vehicles, things like that. And basically, it is like giving people the platform to invest in green bonds, so that these bonds eventually invest in businesses which cater to sustainability. On a digital payment front, there are so many instruments out there, the most popular being the UPI. Then, although UPI is available on smartphones, we have USSD and UPI 123, which is available on feature phones. So there is not a single person who cannot use UPI facility these days. Therefore, reducing the load on cash. As you may be aware, the currency notes that we use, they are not made of just paper. There's a lot of other material in it. So that currency note is not biodegradable. So we want the carbon footprint to be less. Therefore, reducing the usage of physical cash and putting more impetus on using digital modes of payment. You can say credit card, debit cards, then mobile wallets. These are all instruments which sort of reduce the stress on physical currency. Then a lot of rural, you can say in the rural banks, we see a huge load of, you can say, on human resources is in just making the passbook entries. You'll see people, especially retirees, they will flock into the branches and they'll carry their passbooks and just to make an entry. But fact of the matter is that if you are using e-statements, if you use mobile banking, internet banking, then you practically don't need to do that. So it is a huge wastage on resources, human resources, then using a lot of paper in using a passbook. So these can be reduced by using e-statements. So that's like, using less and less of resources, which can be a huge burden on our sustainability goals. Now I'll talk about the plan your money part, and I also club it with the theme, rather the slogan, permanent slogan of Global Money Week, which is learn, save, and earn. Now I'll start. I'll just give a brief about all these three aspects. Now, learning is something which is a common theme, and that is where financial literacy comes in. That is where RBI has taken a lot of strides. Now, what is basically learning about? It is about equipping yourself with knowledge. And this is one place where NCFE has done a commendable job by preparing a lot of content. We'll talk about it later. Then comes the saving part, and saving cannot be called in, talked about in isolation. It is something which is concomitant with investment. So saving and investment go hand in hand. If you have saved, you have basically invested also. And then we talk about the earning part. This is where job creation comes in, entrepreneurship comes in, or you can say, high valued jobs, like jobs which give you good earnings, not just on the labor side, but more on the services side. And connecting all the things, learning, saving, and earning, is the compounding effect, the magic. So we'll talk about that also. Now let's talk about the learning aspect. Now this is where the basic financial literacy concepts, like setting your financial goals, income, expense, saving, these all things come into. Now, if you do not have a financial goal in mind, then you might simply end up spending a lot, or you might be guided by a lot of information in the public media, especially social media, where people create stories that if you should travel a lot, you should have a lot of experiences, and people get swayed into these things, and they start into the peer comparison, and eventually, if you do not have your goals, you may go astray. So it is very important to have goals. And financial goals could be like, short term, medium term, long term. The short term goal would be like, goals up to 1 year, which is to ensure that you have the basic income to support your fundamental needs like food, clothing, housing. Then we talk about like medium term goals, which are more on the investment side, where you can say if you want to buy a car, so it could be like a 5-year goal. So either you can save for that, or on the other side, you can take a loan for a car, or you can say if you want to plan say higher education, it is also something like a medium term goal. So these are the kind of goals for which you need some sort of cash, which can be generated through your savings, or you can even take a loan for that in case you do not have that much cash to spend on these things. Then there are really long-term goals, like more than 7 years, more than 10 years. And it again goes into the investment side of things. But one important area here is your pension, something which people never really care about. People think that okay, they will eventually save money. So this is something we'll cover later on. And clubbing all the expenses is the budgeting. If you do not have a budget in place, then you will not be able to track your expenses. So suppose you have a big bucket of income, and you take a small mug, and you take a mug and put some liquidity, some cash into a smaller bucket called expenses. Then you can make a couple of buckets like that. One could be on your, you can say, food needs. One could be on your clothing needs. And another bucket could be for maybe a little bit of luxury, like if you want to travel, or maybe buy expensive gadgets. So if you're spending within your means, then why not? And a lot of people say that as a rule of thumb, you should spend about 50% of your money on your basic needs, and up to 30% on your wants. Wants are something which is beyond your needs, and is again dependent on the income category you're in and what you consider as wants. And as a rule of thumb, you should at least save 20% of what you earn. Now, I'll talk about the most powerful thing that there is in pretty much every aspect of life. You'll see this thing, and it's called the magic of compounding. And this is a rather advanced concept, but it's something which is worth knowing even for students who are like in 8, 9, 10 standard. So I'll speak a little on it. So on the right, you see a chart which talks about if you start saving in your 20s. So there are 3 scenarios in this. The blue line, just a second. Yeah. So there is this blue line, which is, starts at 25. So this is a person who starts saving at the age of 25 and continues to save money month after month. And he's put his money in an instrument which gives him 5% return, annualized return. So the graph shows how his corpus grows with time. Now there's another person, which is a light blue line, who rather red line, which is a person who starts saving at the age of 35. Now everything is same as the person who is, just like the person who started saving at the age of 25. This person started saving at the age of 35. So you can clearly see that this person will always, at any given point in time, have less corpus as compared to the person who started early. Now, there's another example of a person who started saving at the age of 40. And here the condition is that he is saving twice the amount of the other two people. So suppose a person at the age of 25 is saving, say, 100 rupees. The person who started saving at the age of 35 is also saving 100 rupees. This person is saving double the amount. So you'll see that even by saving double the amount, at the age of 30, at the age of 65, which is the last point in the graph, this person will eventually be having a lesser corpus than the person who started at the age of 25. So this shows how important it is to start saving early. And this also shows the magic of compounding, which shows its effects at a later part in life, or you can say with time. So just like they say, you should have patience. So compounding also works with patience. Now, on the left side, you see a graph which is sloping downwards. Now, this is again the magic of compounding, but in the reverse direction. You can call it negative compounding. Now, this graph shows that 100 rupee, if it is because of the effect of inflation, which is a general rise in prices of commodities. Suppose there is an inflation of 3%, then the prices, then the value of money with time will deteriorate. Similarly, if the inflation is say 5%, which is more than 3%, then the speed of deterioration will be even faster. So if you have cash in hand, which you have not put in a bank deposit or anywhere, and it is simply lying in cash. It's like a 100 rupee note that you have. You have maintained that note in your maybe in your drawer in your house. It is just lying there. It's just getting dust, and it will also lose its value with time, because what 100 rupee could buy 10 years ago, it cannot buy now because of the effect of inflation. So compounding works both ways. That is the reason you should save in assets which beats the inflation and gives you some surplus return, like at least a 1, 2, or 3% return over inflation. And this is where you should park your funds with due research, with a lot of analysis. And there are a lot of tools out there in the market. Um, Although you can put your money in fixed income securities like FDs, there are a lot of long-term securities like stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, where you may get slightly better returns, although there are risks involved there. And that's where you should always consult a good analyst or an advisor who can guide you better. And talking about the learning part, NCFE has developed workbooks on financial education for class 6 to 10. And all the financial regulators, be it SEBI, RBI, IRDAI, PFRDA, they have shared their opinions, and accordingly, these workbooks have been prepared, and they are a must read for school students. Besides, there are a lot of bestseller books in the market, which sort of simplifies the concept of finance and it feeds that to the common people in very simple language, and it's very easy to follow. Further, we live in the age of information, and social media provides us various platforms to receive and share knowledge. And this is where online communities and groups social media groups can help you increase your knowledge. And this is one area, it's a tricky area, because the thing is, you can get into social media and you may be swayed by a lot of easy, you can say easy bits of information and get trapped into a rabbit hole, and you might start consuming things which you never had an intention to. So this is where you have to practice discretion and focus your attention. Write down why you are using any social media channel, be it YouTube or Instagram, because there are knowledge-based groups also, and there are a lot of groups which are potentially not adding to your knowledge. So you have to use discretion. Another thing which I can talk about, it's not in the slides, is there are a lot of board games like Monopoly and other games which are quite instrumental in instilling the concepts of compounding and having diversified assets like real estate and bonds and stuff like that, which it's quite difficult to find such quality games in the online space, because online space is a different area, and the intention there is more to make money rather than to give education. So you have to practice discretion. Now I'll talk about saving. With regards to saving, you can see the first chart. A person is putting coins and they're growing. So you can see the compounding effect is seen everywhere in saving, in learning. As you spend more and more time with you can say, as a school student, when you are in the first standard, you are given very simple concepts. As you grow, the concepts keep becoming more and more complex. And as you become a graduate and a postgraduate or a PhD holder, your knowledge has gone several folds. So that is the same theme, compounding theme going in saving also. And to talk about saving, I'll just take this small chart which says income minus saving in blue. Income minus saving is expenses. So this is a very important theme. You have to first save before you can expend, because if you take it the other way around, if you, instead of saying income minus saving is expenses, if you say that income minus expenses is saving, then you have more focus on expenses. So idea is that you should save first and then you should start spending. Otherwise, we live in an age where our deposits rates across, in India, if you see the trend of deposit, the deposit rate has been declining over the past 4 or 5 years, and it's a big concern. And one of the big factors is that, the youth are spending pretty much all that they're earning on consumer durables, and that is still fine, but they're spending a lot of things on things which are going to not last even 1 year. They're spending a lot on travel and not realizing that although travel experiences do add a lot to your personality, but eventually, if you're not saving enough, then who are you going to be dependent on after retirement? So saving is earning in a way, and whatever you save eventually will give you a return in the later part of your life. So saving is a prime important thing. Again, in learning also, we talked about budgeting. For saving, budgeting is the most important tool. So you should always have a small journal handy, or if you want, you can use advanced tools, and you can feed in data on your spending, be it anything like, as I said, clothing and various things. So that will give you a clear picture that what you have been spending over the years or over the months or over the weeks. And you'll be able to, because the data never lies. You may have a different perception, but the data never lies. And having a record will always give you an upper hand over keeping a tap on your spending, and you can say your saving. Then another thing which a lot of people ignore is having the need of an emergency fund. Because we never know when we might be stuck with an emergency. One of the emergencies could be if you are laid off, because we saw in last 5 to 6 a lot of layoffs in IT related jobs. The top of the top companies in the world are laying off people. So if that happens, and if you don't have any money for that kind of an emergency, then you are to be blamed for that. And that is where you can have a fixed deposit, which covers at least 6 months of your, you can say, monthly expenditure needs. So suppose you're earning 1 lakh a month and your expenses are about 60,000 a month. So you should at any given point in time have, say, about 60,000 into 6, about 3.6 lakh of saving in a fixed deposit. So when the need arises, you can break that fixed deposit and then you can dive into that fund, and in the meantime keep searching for other jobs and other opportunities. There could be several other emergencies like medical emergencies, and I mean, I need not talk about it. You guys know it pretty well that how expensive medical emergencies have got these days, and that is where emergency fund comes into picture. Another thing, okay, I'll cover this thing in the last aspect. Okay, yeah, fine. So let's talk about earning. And this is one area where you can say, if you, there are a lot of people who would just take their jobs as sacrosanct, that they've landed a good job, this is a perfect place. But the thing is, we are in an ever-changing society where things are changing at super speed. So you have to keep up with that, and that is where improving your skills come in handy. Now, when I'm talking about skills, you again go back to the learning aspect that I shared previously, and so you should keep upgrading yourself. Again, second thing is people cannot be I mean, they cannot take their jobs for granted, and that is where a lot of people are creating side incomes these days, like freelancing work or passive incomes. Like if you've invested in stocks, then you can get dividend as a return. If you've invested in fixed deposit, you'll get interest as a return. So that interest or that dividend gives you an extra income going forward. So these are the things that you need to think about. Then there are several other aspects to earning. One is that you should constantly create a network of people around you who will help you scale up higher. At the same time, it's like a give and take relationship. You give them some knowledge, they give you back, and that is how it's a symbiotic relationship. Then diversification of income and things like that. Now I'll talk about the initiative that Reserve Bank of India has taken over the years in the domain of financial literacy. And I'll say that in 2009, we started off with financial literacy and credit counseling centers, where people were basically taught about various aspects of how to take a loan, what are the needs for which they can take a loan. And although that was a big initiative, but the number of people that could be covered was much less. And that is where financial literacy centers were established in 2012, which catered to a much larger section of people. And the idea was to spread awareness and knowledge. And further down the line, in year 2017, we came up with financial pilot project for a Center for Financial Literacy, which is a very innovative project in which, with the help of NGOs, we are able to reach out to the people on the grassroots at block level. And this is one area where you can say huge improvements have been seen because of our efforts in the CFL. And the thing is, most of the trainers in these Center for Financial Literacies are actually the locals who are living in those areas. So they're well versed with the vernacular languages. They are also in the same category of the people they're training. Therefore, they understand their problems much better than others. Further, we have collected a lot of data through these projects, and we have much finer understanding of the needs of the people and what is the strata to which they belong, and what is their earnings and things like that. So that's giving us a lot of insights. Subsequently, we have expanded this project, and now we are covering a good part of India through this project. Then there are a lot of other initiatives that we have taken. The first is that we have a financial literacy architecture for regional environment. This is where our regional offices, the 28 regional offices that we have, are conducting financial literacy camps for school children, teachers, and various segments. Further, we have prepared booklets on, you can say, for our target groups and for common persons, and that is available on our website. We also conduct a financial literacy week every year. So I'll just dive a little deep into that. So these are the books on, you can say, content on financial literacy messages, which is available on RBI website. So it dwells on various topics and very fundamental topics on financial literacy. It can be accessed from our website. Then for very specific target groups like farmers, school children, senior citizens, entrepreneurs, and self-help groups, we have developed target specific booklets. So these booklets are also available for you all to go and read. And the thing is, these books are available in about 11 vernacular languages besides Hindi and English. So we have about 13 languages in which content is covered in these books. Now I'll talk about the Financial Literacy Week, which RBI has been celebrating since 2016 with a different theme every year. This year, the theme of the Financial Literacy Week was Good Financial Behavior, Your Savior. So under this theme, there were three messages. There was a message on financial budgeting, and you can access these posters on RBI website. Further, there was a mass media campaign which was underway last month, in which these advertisements, through TV ads and through radio ads, these messages were disseminated. So, we have this multimedia approach to basically ensure that for one complete week, there's a complete attention of all the banks and all the regional offices of RBI on a particular theme, so that the message spreads very fast. And yeah, so with this, I'd like to finish my presentation and open the floor for any questions.
Ankur sir, you can see a question from Mr. Mukesh Verma in the chat box.
Just a second. I want to stop sharing. Just a second. Yeah, stop sharing. Yeah. Can you please read out the question? Just a second.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mukesh Verma sir is asking, I conducted various workshops at block level and found that FLPs are beneficial for them, but they need digital literacy also in the same manner like FLPs. So RBI may look into for DLs.
Just a second. Sure, we'll look into that. Are there questions from school children? Because actually I had more.
It is from trainers. It is from trainers.
Yeah, actually I had more focus on school children this time.
Okay. So there is another question from Sonal Sharma ji. Is it possible to strategically invest beginning at a later date like 35 to 40 and still be financially successful and enjoy a secure retirement?
Well, as has been shown in the graph, if you start saving late, then you have to save a lot. I can take an example of a person perhaps who was for a good part of his life maybe just studying, and he was not maybe earning much, and for whatever reasons, that person started saving, say, at the age of 35. Now this person, by virtue of starting late, will have to have a much higher saving rate. Maybe even 40-45% of his income should go into savings. Otherwise, the problem is when he retires at the age of, say, 60-65. So he has put in, say, about 12 to 15 years less than a person who started earning at the age of 20, 22, 25. Alternatively, there can be a person who started earning early, but he was on the spending spree. He was just traveling around the world. He was experiencing life, and he had not thought much about saving. So in both the scenarios, if you start saving late, you will invariably have to have a higher saving rate compared to a person who started early and had a small saving rate, but he was consistently saving, say 20%, 15%, 25% every month, every year. So that is the only difference.
Participants, if you have any more questions, still you can drop on the chat box. Ankur sir, can't see any more questions. So do you have to add anything, or we can wind up the session?
Yeah, so I'd like to take the opportunity to thank NCFE, also SEBI for organizing this platform for us to share our views, and also giving us the opportunity to talk about the Global Money Week and also RBI's initiatives in financial literacy. You can log on to RBI website to get content related to financial literacy under the financial education page, which is on the bottom of the, you can say, homepage of RBI. And you'll find several resources. And please go and get awakened and get all the learning that is available for you to have.
So on behalf of NCFE, I would like to thank Mr. Ankur Jarora sir for enlightening us and telling the perspective of RBI on this theme. Plan your future, plan your money, plan your future. I'm sure all the participants would have benefited from this session one way or another. Thank you once again for sir for your valuable time and support. I would also like to thank each and every participant who had attended this session, especially the college students from Tamil Nadu, Odisha, and Assam who attended this session with so much of enthusiasm. So today we have heard from RBI and SEBI on this theme, and tomorrow again we have a session to hear from PFRDA and IRDA at the same time 11 a.m. We will catch you tomorrow. Thank you everyone once again.